Guests, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing until after the invocation. Today's ceremony is an uncovered ceremony, so only the official party will render honors. Bosun, post the side boys.
Post the side boys up. Side boys, post. Side boys, cover. Two. Side boys, left or right, face.
Subbase, arriving. Subrun 20, arriving. Subron 16, arriving. Vice Admiral retired, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Parade the colors, color guard, aye. Color guard. Forward, forward. Left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right, right. Detail. Hold. Left, face. Present.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Margaret McNeil, a senior from Camden County High School, will now sing our national anthem. Color Guard, retire the colors.
Retire the colors, color guard, aye. Order, arms. Ready, cut. Right, face. Forward, march. Left, 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 right, right, left, 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 right,
Bosun, retire the side boys.
Side boys up. Side boys, left or right, face. Side boys, cover, uncover. Two.
Chaplain Karen Rector will now deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious and almighty God, we gather here today to pay tribute to brave people, both living and dead, who have gone down to the sea in ships. Accept our thanksgiving for these sacrifices and for the sacrifices of their families that have purchased for us this free land. They came from all corners. They came from different backgrounds, from upbringings and different faiths, yet all unified in their devotion to freedom and liberty. And may we never take their sacrifices for granted. Today, Lord, we ask that you would provide joy and fulfillment to those still with us. And for those who are at rest, we ask that you would grant your peace until men and women everywhere shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks and learn of war no more. And this is in your most holy and precious name I pray. Amen.
Georgia State Senator Sheila McNeil and Mr. Arlie McNeil, Mayor John Morrissey, Ms. Brenda Spencer, Major Commanders, Commanding Officers, National, State, and Local Officers of the Submarine Veterans Incorporated, Submarine veterans, sailors, friends, family, and distinguished guests, and a special welcome to our World War II submarine veteran and widows of World War II submarine veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, today's ceremony is in memory of all submariners on eternal patrol, most especially the 52 United States submarines lost during World War II, with more than 3,500 valiant submarines. Before we begin that tribute, it is important that we remember our nationals prisoners of war and those missing in action. Master Chief Jeff Hiscox, Command Master Chief, Trident Refit Facility, will read our POW MIA remembrance.
Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed service of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Before we begin our activities, we pause to recognize our POWs and our MIAs. As you entered the pavilion today, you may have noticed a small table by itself in a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join together to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The prisoner of war missing in action flag has been placed there, symbolizing the members of the profession of arms that are absent in our midst. This table is set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. Remember. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember. The single red rose displayed in a vase signifies the blood they may have shed in the sacrifices to ensure our freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the families and the loved ones of our missing comrades who keep the faith, awaiting their safe return. Remember. The red ribbon tied so prominently on the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn on the lapel and the breast of thousands who bear witness to their unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. Remember. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. Remember. There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the countless volunteers of the families as they wait. Remember. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us today. Remember. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to open arms of a grateful nation. Remember. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Remember. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Remember.
Thank you, Master Chief Hiscox. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Sonar Technician Submarine Senior Chief Keith Post United States Navy, retired, Executive Director of the St. Mary's Submarine Museum.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is great to see so many faces here this morning, unlike last year when we were very limited and had 45 people to do this. It's great to have more of you here this year, and with God's help and things moving in the right direction, we'll be back to full speed next year and back at the pavilion, and we will continue this rich history and rich legacy of this service. I want to give a special welcome to Tony Faella and his wife Betty, and my shipmate here. I know the Master Chiefs already had a bet on me before I wouldn't be up here 2 minutes before I started bawling, so whoever bet the $20, you're welcome. Buy me a beer later. My good friend, my young friend there, Tony Faella, and his wife Betty have celebrated 70 years of wedding bliss, and he is 99 years young. So please give a round of applause. They come here every year, all the way from Rhode Island, and they wouldn't miss it. Hurricanes, COVID, they were here last year, and nothing is going to stop these two from coming. So we look forward to having you back next year, and we'll have a big cake for you next year. I also want to give a warm welcome to Blanche and Beverly and Charlie for being here, our World War II widows, to honor their husbands. And I found something out yesterday that I didn't know. You know, this young man sitting behind me here started this 33 years ago. We've been doing this every year for 33 years. Charlie, stand up a second. This young lady drove all the way from Michigan, and this is her 33rd year of being here. And those of you that come to the dinner tonight, don't try to outdrink her, because she'll drink more beer than you can ever imagine. And I want to give a warm welcome to my good friend John Morrissey. Some of you may know or may not know that I'm a recovering politician myself. In 2009, John and I ran for city council the same year. We both got elected. We both served side by side for 4 years, and then he didn't have enough punishment. He went on to run for mayor, and he's being reelected since then. So, John, thank you for being here. Thanks for all you do for our city. I appreciate that. And the lady and the young man sitting next to John, Sheila and Arlie McNeil, I would just want to make an observation real quick. So, in 2009, when I got the harebrained idea to run for city council, Sheila, what did you call me? What did you say I was? An idiot. An idiot, okay. I just wanted to make that observation because last year, somebody else got an idea she hadn't done enough. You know, she founding president of the museum, got the sail exhibit out front, got the community, or the technical college going, all sorts of things. First woman and only woman to ever be the national president of the Navy League. That wasn't enough. No, she had to run for Georgia Senate. So I'll leave it to you all to decide whether that was a smart thing or not, because I'm not going to cast aspersions, but Sheila, thank you for what you do and continue to do for our sailors, Marines, Coast Guard, and Merchant Marine, and for our state. Thank you for being here today. She flew back from Atlanta last night so that she could be here today, so we appreciate it. And what some of you may not know is Arlie is a Navy veteran himself. He started out in Glencoe just a couple of years ago, right, Arlie? A couple of years ago. So thanks for being here. Brenda, thank you for being here. I know the Admiral can be with us today, so I appreciate you being here with us. We also have, I would like to remember a couple of people this morning. Down in Jacksonville, we have one of our World War II vets, Alan Holt, who is under hospice care, and Jim Campbell, who those of you who were here last year may remember he was here. His dementia has gotten worse, and his daughter just said he can't travel. So we remember Alan and Jim. And just 2 weeks ago, those of you that follow the museum's Facebook page will note that we lost Dr. Earl Justice a couple of weeks ago down in Lake City. He will be buried at the Jacksonville National Cemetery at Arlington, in Jacksonville, and on December 10th. So we remember the Justice family in our thoughts and prayers. You know, 5 years ago, when Vice Admiral Moran was here, we had 15 World War II vets with us. George Bass, Jim Campbell, Paul Cassavant, Carl Coleman, Tony Faella, Robert Frost, Bill Halterman, Harry Irving, Jim McConnell, Fred Richards, Bill Schofield, Al Smith, Charlie Weller, Philip Williamson, and Pat Zalakias. What we gather every year to honor them, even though they're not with us, by tolling the bell and remembering them. The importance of this event is recognized by everybody in this community, and especially the leadership on this base, which is visible by the folks that you see on stage here this morning. The importance that we do this every year and will continue to do. And Tony, you have my word. So long as there's breath in me and I'm on the right side of the grass, we meet here every week, the 1st of November. And like my dad's kidney doctor tells him, my dad's 92, he says he's got to stay alive till 115 because he's got to pay off his student loans. So you and I are here a long time yet, buddy. I would also like to give a special welcome to that young man sitting over there, Stephen Chan Gary Jr. He's from Manville, New Jersey, but he lives over in Folkestone right now. This is his first time being here with us. He just happened to come to the museum the other day, and his father was lost on the USS Robalo. So we honor your dad here, and thank you for being with us today. Now, something happy. I want to talk about something happy. So surrounding you this morning, you may not know it, but all the folks that greeted you and have kept me from losing my mind the past couple of days are a bunch of folks in uniform. What you don't know is they have recently been selected for promotion to Chief Petty Officer. So will all the Chief Selects please stand? Thanks for helping us out. They're not quite there yet. They still got 2 weeks, some more push-ups, a little more running to do, a little few other things. I haven't seen a couple of them at the museum yet, but I'm sure after today I'm going to see them down at the museum. But we look forward to seeing you in your new uniforms on November 19th. So congratulations to you all. Thank you. You may be seated. A couple of milestones this year. We celebrated our 25th anniversary at the museum. Thanks to Sheila, Admiral Knessey, and a whole bunch of other community leaders and other folks, we welcomed Admiral Fluckey here to St. Mary's and commissioned the St. Mary's Submarine Museum on 30 March 1996. And a couple of weeks ago, Admiral Knessey drug my butt up to D.C. with him, and we went to Annapolis, and I had the honor and privilege of paying my respects where Admiral Fluckey is interred at the Columbarium there at the Naval Academy. So thank you, Admiral. That was a true privilege. We've had a great few months since we reopened the museum. As you know, we were closed for COVID. We spent 14 months shut down, and we did a lot of improvements to it, so we're looking forward to continuing that rich tradition of preserving submarine history at the museum. I do want to make just a couple of quick announcements to remind everybody the dinner tonight is at 1700 at the hotel. The museum will be open this afternoon. If anybody would like to go, we're opening at 12:30. But due to the weather forecast and flooding predicted for tonight and tomorrow, we may be closed tomorrow. I'll know that later on today whether we're going to be closed due to road flooding downtown St. Mary's. So just keep that in mind if you plan to visit the museum. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for what you do in your respective communities. And I want to give a big thanks to the base for allowing us to do this and continuing this great partnership we have with the museum and with our local Subvets chapter. It means a lot, the fact that we have somebody coming from Michigan and Rhode Island and all the way from Louisiana and other places around the country. That demonstrates how important what we do here is. So now it's my privilege to introduce someone who needs no introduction. He's a former Commodore of Squadron 16 here in Kings Bay, former commanding officer of the Grayling, sub-pack out in Pearl, Deputy Fleet Forces, along an illustrious Navy career. Before I let him come up here and share some remarks with you all, I want to also thank him for hauling me to D.C. on the Navy birthday to be there to witness the kicking off of a great campaign for the new National Navy Museum, which is going to be built in D.C. outside the Navy Yard so the public can get to it, unlike now where it's on the Navy Yard. If you can't get on the base, you can't see it. Sort of like me running for office, the Admiral doesn't know how to say no, so he is the chairman of that effort. So I'm sure he'll probably tell you about that either now or tonight, but anyway, I wanted to mention that and thank him for the rare opportunity to be up there in D.C. with a few invited guests to kick that event off. So now, with no further ado, please welcome my good friend and yours, Vice Admiral Albert Knessey.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Keith, very, very much. I was showing the Commodores and the skipper over there that it's really wonderful being retired because, you know, you don't have to stay on a script. You write your own notes, you know. It's all good. Hey, I am just honored, truly honored to be here. I'd almost forgotten that the first one of these that we did was, I guess, 33 years ago, down on the waterfront. The torpedo that's over there by the Trident training facility, that was ripped off from the weapons station up in Charleston by a couple of chiefs who would probably have gone to their great reward. But they got it, and that was pretty cool, I thought, brought it back. The placards that are over there that show the lost 52 boats, they were made by the USS Canopus. The skipper, who's a real dear friend of mine, said, no, we can't do it, it's illegal, immoral, and everything else, but they look like they're hanging in there pretty well right now, and nobody went to jail. But 33 years ago, it's wonderful, Keith and Sheila and folks that have kept that going. To me, that's what we're talking about today. Just a couple of things. Hey, Tony and your beautiful bride, Betty, 70 years married, being here again, pretty cool. Thank you so very, very much for being here. For the widows who are here, it's pretty special. Pretty special that you carry on, ladies, if I may, what the hubbies did. And you obviously are part of what they did. So for Charlie Johnston, Blanche Casavant, and Beverly Zellman, thank you so much. I just want you to know, it's very, very special. So thanks for being here. Mayor, it's always a pleasure to see you, fine sir. Madam Senator, I hate calling you Madam Senator, Sheila, but, and Arlie, your better half by a long shot, I'm teasing. It's always an honor. You have had so much to do with all of the things that we do. So it's a memorial. Before I start, I just have to congratulate the chief selectees. It's a new road. It's a long road for you. Well done. I would just ask you one thing. Make sure you celebrate with your families, because they went through the same. I had to be careful at the chapel. We almost had lightning the last time when I was up here, so this time, Chaplain, I hope we're protected. But get that bottle of champagne, take the family out to dinner and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, because they worked as hard as you. You all know that, and that's the way it is. I'm very fortunate today. I'd like to talk about memories. Mine's going, but other than that, I'd like to talk about memorials and memories. I told a story to my dear friend Steve Bell. Steve's sitting in the back, and he's the national junior dude for the sub-vets and a good friend. He's been my mentor. We met each other in January 1968. I didn't have a clue, on a Mariano G. Vallejo in Guam. I said, Steve, hey, I didn't say that. Petty Officer Bell, please help me out. I don't know anything. And God bless, it was the best thing that I ever did. And I got the best advice that I ever got. And so I really want you to know, at the end of the day, when you think about memory and memorials and the like, it's our wonderful influence on others that really counts. Now, long story short, Steve lost his beautiful bride of almost 6 decades a little while ago, and we went to dinner last night to talk about it. And I was brought to think, and I must tell you, Margie was the best of the best of the best. I think probably too good for that knucklehead, because she supported him to the nth degree, like all of our spouses do. But I was brought to thinking, and it's kind of a sad story, but it's funny. My brother, who's 2 years younger than me, he married a beautiful little gal who was Jewish. So that's a pretty cool combination. You got a Catholic dude, who's not a good Catholic, marrying a Jewish girl. And the year was about 1968, so they basically had their ceremony. I think it was an Indian chief who gave him the wedding up by the Tappan Zee Bridge on the Hudson River, you know. I was at sea, you know, I was on patrol, so I couldn't be there. Sadly, Susan died in 2006, and my brother, who I'm very close to, asked me, he said, you know, we weren't church-going folks, but Al, could you get me a rabbi to say a couple of words? I said, Doug, I think it's going to be hard. I said, well, I'll try. So I called the rabbinical group of chaplains, and I got this wonderful guy on the phone. He said, well, you know, I got to go through, I love it. I got that federal answer. I got to go, the bureaucratic answer. I got to go through the rabbinical group. I got to do this. And I said, yeah, oh, by the way, she's been cremated. That made it a little bit harder, too. We got past that. I said, listen, just do me a favor. You don't have to know the lady, but do it. It's in memory. And he lived down in Orlando when he did it. Well, where we had the memorial, kind of strange, but it was in the same clubhouse, the same golf course, a beautiful, beautiful reception room that Tiger Woods used to play at. So there's a bar on one end, there's a bar on the other end. They're putting pictures up of Susan, and it's wonderful. And I'm thinking, this chaplain, thank God we're paying him a little bit because he'd probably leave right now. But he said something that I mentioned to Steve last night that I will never forget. And it's really why we're all here. It's why we're all here. It's called memory. And he said to the group, he didn't know anybody. He talked to my brother a little bit about his wife, Susan. He said, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you're all religious. He said, in my religion, we believe the person is still with us as long as we remember that individual. Well, to some degree, we all have that kind of a sense. But I think that's what we do today. As long as we remember them, they're here. And as sad as losing a person has to be, we've all known tragedy of some sense, but as long as we remember, it's the much more positive way of going through our lives and remembering those wonderful thoughts and so forth. So I think today, whether it's collective memorial of remembering the heroes and their families, or individuals that maybe supported us in our Navy that are now gone, it's okay. It's what it's all about. So collectively, we do celebrate today the heritage. And, you know, if I may, because we have the widows and the submarine veterans of World War II, and I have to laugh, if I may, Tony, I got involved with you guys in 1967. Your group was only, at that time, 11 years old, but it was the Delmarva group, and I loved them. But, you know, you think about it. You think about the lessons that you guys have taught us. God bless, I hope we never lose them. But I think about World War II often. I've read an awful lot about it. We started slow. Beforehand, how dumb we were. We were a scouting force, submarine force, scouting force. You know, in 1942, we don't talk about this a lot, over 25% of the skippers were fired. You're out of here. You're out of here. Talking to the Commodores before, you look real hard at your skippers. If they ain't hacking it, you got 150 people on that ship, you make the right answer. You have to do it. But by the end of 43, it's amazing. A short period of time, Japan was doomed. I always laugh because I always think that comment by Admiral Chester Nimitz was the best. It was to our submarine force to take the battle to the enemy as we repaired our losses after Pearl Harbor. So true. So very, very true. Then you go on to the Cold War, and I see Jim Harvey and some of our friends, Cold War warriors, including myself and so forth. We really took pressure off the Central Front War. The Soviets planned to have a Central Front war, land war, that they would win. NATO had very little interest in the navies in the Atlantic. Thank God the Russians came up in 1967 with a Yankee-class ballistic missile because it got their attention. We would not have the Navy we have today unless we had gotten their attention. So what did the force do? At the end of the day, we put great pressure on the Soviet military and forced them into bastions, forced them into small areas of water, even under the ice and icebound areas. And we basically, at the end of the day, you think about it, because of the submarine force, and I brag about it, we forced them to go broke. They just could not keep up with that business. So here we are today, and again, it's memory. I hope that we take the lessons of the past that were really, truly learned in blood. So, you know, what do? You know darn well, and the wonderful skippers here at Commodores, they know this. It's important for us to prepare the battlefield for war. You know, I had to laugh. We don't learn this easy. A lot of people here know the story. I can tell you, nobody was interested in China in 1996. Nobody was. And look now, my goodness. But somebody had to go ahead and scream for help in that regard, and that's what the submarine force is all about. Look at us going into contested areas. I feel bad, the problem that happened with Connecticut. But you know, that's the danger when you're operating in waters that have not been completely surveyed, because we took the money away in the 60s and 70s. That's the danger. That ship did nothing wrong, but there are a hell of a lot of seamounts out there. As the biggest chicken in the universe, whenever I was in that area, I'd be at periscope depth doing about 3 knots, just in case I ran into something. I wanted to be high. So we got to learn. Look now, we continue to strive to quiet our ships and enhance our digital systems. Look at what we do with the Special Operation Forces. They love us. I was down there last week. They truly love the submarine force. They love your SSGNs, Commodore. They love being part of that. And look at what we have done. A lot of the black program stuff we can't talk about, but it's phenomenal. Then I take a look at the fights that have gone on. 13 different studies in the 90s about the need for SSNs, fast attack submarines, all ignored by the military and the Congress. But look where we are now. 2, sometimes 3. So quite frankly, I think we've done very, very well. At the end of the day, it's the memorial and it's the people. Ladies, your husbands gave us the heritage, they gave us the training. Tony, you told us how to do it. So I take a look at World War II, feisty young Americans who spent weeks and months in sewer pipes. Their showers with talcum powder. I always laugh at that. After about 3 weeks, talcum powder kind of cakes up on your body. It doesn't help but smell. Tony knows what I'm talking about. Say, oh, maybe we'll put you in the ocean. He makes it worse, you know, because it's like cement on you. But they were inventors. They could repair anything, and we still have that today. And I take a look at memory. Subvets, established in '56. They're strong today. It's the strongest fraternal force I've ever seen. And for the guys who are on active duty, I'd recommend for memory, be part of it. It's easy to go through the show that tolls the bells. It's harder when you start thinking that these were young people from 17 years old to probably 32. That was probably the skipper, who lost their lives terribly. Terribly. But when you get into that and you start thinking about it, the memories come back of what they've done. I think everyone probably knows that regarding memorials, this is the only organization in the world that has at least one submarine memorial in every state of the Union. We have 20 submarines that are memorials. Some of them are a little bit in disrepair, but even so, we do pretty well. And quite frankly, it's just the most amazing thing in the world. So as I close up, folks, I just want to leave you with a couple of thoughts, if I may. Hey, first of all, memory is important. Realizing the devotion, the loss of lives, the dedication, and so forth of the past is critical to the future. If we don't, we wind up becoming bureaucrats. We wind up coming in at 8, leaving at 4. We make no progress. It's all about winning. And the people we memorialize today, that we remember, whether they died in combat, whether they died afterwards, at home, in peace, we remember them for all the things that they've done. So I would leave you with just a couple of thoughts. Hey, you know, for all of us, decide what our goals are. What do we want to do? Take action. Never stop learning. Be persistent. Analyze the details. Learn from mistakes. Be honest. If a skipper ain't working, get rid of him. If a comm ain't working, let him go. Those are the memorials that we learn in a hard manner in World War II and even the Cold War. Finally, communicate effectively. Learn to understand others. We don't do that often. We don't do that often. Listen. What's he or she trying to tell me? Walk in that person's shoes. We wouldn't be going through this crap that we go through today about worried about repeating the past or redoing the past if we listened. And we said, hey, I got it. I understand. Finally, be honest and dependable. Take responsibility. So I throw that out. I've learned all those things over the years, most of the time in a hard way. But I do think it's really important more than anything else. I love that term memorial, but it becomes sometimes a statue or a gravestone or something. It's the memory. It's the memory of that person. Keeps them alive, and it motivates us to do great things. So thanks, folks. Thanks for letting me be here. It's been truly, truly an honor. Hope the rain stops sometime today, but what the heck, it's still cool. Thanks so very much. God bless you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Admiral Knessey. Our United States Submarine Force has been proudly in existence for over 121 years. During that period, over 12 decades, many brave and dedicated submariners have paid the ultimate sacrifice during their service to our nation, and 65 of our submarines have been lost during these years of our collective submarine journeys. The loss of our boats began with the USS F4 SS-23 in March of 1915 and has continued through the years, with the last loss being the Uss Scorpion SSN 589 53 years ago in May of 1968. It is now my privilege to introduce my boss, Captain Christopher Boner, Commanding Officer, Naval Submarine Base, Kings Bay, who will read the preamble to the tolling of the boats.
Prior to World War II, when our force was in its infancy and adolescent years, we suffered the loss of 9 boats and 179 men. We pay tribute to and remember today those early submarine pioneers who perished in those boats that were lost, as they laid the foundation using the technology of the day, testing it, improving it, and did the heavy lifting in establishing a proud force and tradition of excellence for our World War II submariners to use, improve on, and follow in their footsteps. From the period from 7 December 1941 through 2 September 1945 was 4 years of monumental struggle and sacrifice for all Americans. The objectives of this mighty conflict were clear and honorable: to protect and preserve the freedoms of those United States of America, as well as those of our friends and allies. To this end, our entire national effort was totally devoted, both civilian and military. A segment of the United States Navy, relatively new to combat, smaller in the number of ships and men, performed its assigned duties and contributed greatly to the overall efforts which resulted in victory over the Axis powers. This was the Submarine Force, the branch of our Navy we celebrate today, and the force in which the veterans here with us today so proudly served. The crews of our submarines departed from their bases determined to seek out and destroy the enemy. They brought to bear their keen professional abilities to the extreme limits of their endurance. Many of these brave men, our shipmates, were lost in the performance of these duties. Some men were lost individually, but by far the greater number died as boats failed to return from war patrols. A total of 52 American submarines were lost during World War II. In very few instances did any part of the crew survive. So, the cause of the submarines' losses was as none. A few were rescued by the Japanese and imprisoned until the war's end. From these men, we learned that the fate of their ship and the crews. But most often, the entire complement of men and officers perished with their ship. The report, "Submarine overdue, presumed lost," was the epitaph for both the submarine and the men who went down with her. Following the end of World War II, our submarine force suffered the tragic loss of 4 submarines, 2 diesel boats and 2 nuclear-powered submarines, with a collective 234 souls aboard while serving on various missions. We will now honor all of our submarine heroes that have been lost on these 65 vessels with both our silent prayers and by tolling the boats, calling the roll, sounding the bell, in honor of these 65 underwater monuments to liberty that sailed the 7 seas to the far corners of the globe, that were lost in the defense of America's freedom. We will also sound one bell for all submariners who have paid the ultimate sacrifice while in service to our nation, in silent service while serving on other vessels such as the USS Bonefish, as well as one bell for our British allies who in World War II lost 83 Royal Naval submarines, a total of 3,142 men and had 360 who survived as prisoners of war. Nearly 76 years have passed since the end of World War II, and 53 years since the loss of our last submarine that departed on eternal patrol. But the United States submarine veterans of World War II, the submarine veterans, and the United States Submarine Force keep alive the memory of our departed shipmates at every gathering such as this. We do this by honoring their memory in prayer and by tolling the boats, calling the roll of these 65 submarines lost in defense of America's freedom.
Commodore Todd Nethercott, Commander Submarine Squadron 16, and Commodore John Cage, Commander Submarine Squadron 20, will read the names of the boats on internal patrol. The bell will be tolled by Master Chief Josh Williams, Command Master Chief Submarine Squadron 20, and Bud Racker, Command Master Chief United States Navy retired. 2 bells will be sounded after each U.S. submarine that has been lost during World War II is read. 2 bells will also be sounded for all U.S. submariners lost, and 2 bells will be sounded for the 83 Royal Navy submarines lost during World War II. Submarine veterans, military, and guests if able, please stand for the tolling of the boats.
USS F4, lost when it floundered off Honolulu Harbor. 21 men lost, 25 March, 1915.
USS F1 sank following a collision with the USS F3 off San Juan Clemente, California. 19 men lost, 17 December, 1917.
USS H1 sank after being grounded off Santa Margarita Island, Baja California, Mexico. 4 men lost, 12 March, 1920.
USS S5 lost off the Delaware Capes, no loss of life, 1 September 1920.
USS 05 sank following a collision with the SS Ababgarez off the Panama Canal. 3 men lost, 29 October 1923.
USS S51 sank following a collision with the SS City of Rome off Block Island, Rhode Island. 33 men lost, 25 September 1925.
USS S4 sank after being rammed by U.S. Coast Guard cutter Paulding off Provincetown, Massachusetts. 40 men lost, 17 December 1927.
USS Squalis flooded and sank off Portsmouth, New Hampshire. 26 men lost, 23 May 1939.
USS 09 foundered off the Isle of Shoals, 15 miles from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. 33 men lost, 20 June 1941.
USS Sea Lion sunk by Japanese bombers at Cavite Navy Yard, Manila. 4 men lost, 10 December 1941.
USS S-36 ran aground in the Macassar Strait, no loss alive, 20 January 1942.
USS S-26 rammed by escort at the Pacific frontier of the Panama Canal. 46 men lost, 2 survivors, 24 January 1942.
USS Shark sunk by depth charge attack off the Dutch East Indies, all hands lost, 11 February 1942.
USS Perch sunk by surface depth charge attack in the Battle of the Java Sea. All hands taken prisoner, 9 perished as prisoners of war. 3 March 1942.
USS S-27 ran aground during First War Patrol in the Aleutian Islands, no loss of life, 19 June 1942.
USS Grunion perished during First War Patrol off Aleutian Islands. Cause unknown. All hands lost. 30 July 1942.
USS S-39 during Fifth War Patrol ran aground off Rossel Island, no loss of life, 16 August 1942.
USS Argonaut during Second War Patrol southeast of New Britain, sunk by surface depth charge and gunfire. All hands lost, 10 January 1943.
USS Amberjack, during Third War Patrol in the South Pacific, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 16 February 1943.
USS Grampus, during 6th War Patrol, sunk by surface craft or seaplane. All hands lost. 5 March 1943.
USS Triton, during 6th War Patrol north of the Admiralty Islands, sunk by surface craft. All hands lost. 15 March 1943.
USS Pickerel, during 7th War Patrol off the coast of northern Honshu, sunk by a surface depth charge attack. All hands lost. 3 April 1943.
USS Grenadier, during 6th War Patrol in the Malacca Strait, sunk by aerial bombs. All taken prisoner. 4 died in prisoner of war camps. 22 April 1943.
USS Runner, during 3rd War Patrol off coast of northern Japan, sunk by enemy mines. All hands lost. 28 May 1943.
USS R-12, during a special training exercise off the coast of Key West, Florida, sunk. Cause unknown. 42 men lost. 3 survivors. 12 June 1943.
USS Pompano, during 7th War Patrol off Honshu, sunk by enemy mine. All hands lost. 29 August 1943.
USS Grayling, during 8th War Patrol off the approaches to Manila, sunk. Cause unknown. All hands lost. 9 September 1943.
USS Cisco, during 1st War Patrol, passing through the Sulu Sea en route to the Mindoro Strait, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 28 September 1943.
USS S-44, during 5th War Patrol on the Arctic route between Japan and the Aleutians, sunk by surface craft. 55 men lost. 2 survivors taken prisoner. 7 October 1943.
USS Wahoo, during 7th War Patrol, north of Hokkaido, sunk by surface, air, and land forces. All hands lost. 11 October 1943.
USS Dorado, during 1st War Patrol, running surfaced in the Caribbean Sea, sunk by friendly aircraft. All hands lost. 12 October 1943.
USS Corvina, during 1st War Patrol, south of Truk, sunk by enemy submarine. All hands lost. 16 November 1943.
USS Scorpion, during 9th War Patrol north of Truk, sunk by surface depth charging and gunfire. 63 men lost. 21 survivors taken prisoner. 19 November 1943.
USS Capellan, during 1st War Patrol off the Dutch East Indies, sunk by enemy mines. All hands lost. 23 November 1943.
USS Scorpion, during 4th War Patrol in the northern East China and Yellow Seas, sunk by enemy mines. All hands lost. 5 January 1944.
USS Grayback, during 10th War Patrol in the East China Sea, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 26 February 1944.
USS Trout, during her 11th War Patrol in the East China Sea, sunk by surface craft. All hands lost. 29 February 1944.
USS Tullabee, during 4th War Patrol, during night surface attack, sunk by own torpedo. 79 men lost, 1 survivor taken prisoner. 26 March 1944.
USS Herring, during 8th War Patrol off Matsuwa Island, sunk by surface craft and enemy shore gun batteries. All hands lost. 1 June 1944.
USS Gudgeon, during 12th War Patrol, north of the Marianas, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 7 June 1944.
USS Golette, during 2nd War Patrol, off northern Honshu, sunk by surface craft. All hands lost. 14 June 1944.
USS S-28, during training exercise off Pearl Harbor, sunk, cause unknown. All hands lost. 4 July 1944.
USS Robalo, during 3rd War Patrol, transiting off Palawan Island, sunk by enemy mines. 77 men lost, 4 survivors taken prisoner. None survived the prison camp. 26 July 1944.
USS Flyer, during 2nd War Patrol, off Palawan Island, sunk by enemy mines. 80 men lost, 8 survivors. 13 August 1944.
USS Harder, during 6th War Patrol, off Cayman Point, sunk by depth charges. All hands lost. 24 August 1944.
USS Seawolf, during 15th War Patrol, en route to the Philippines, sunk by friendly destroyers. All hands lost, including 17 Army personnel. 3 October 1944.
USS Escalar, during 1st War Patrol in the Yellow Sea, sunk by enemy mines. All hands lost. 17 October 1944.
USS Shark II, during 3rd War Patrol, Luzon Strait, sunk by surface craft. All hands lost. 24 October 1944.
USS Tang, during 5th War Patrol, executing a nighttime surface attack, sunk by their own torpedo. 78 men lost, 9 survivors taken prisoner. 24 October 1944.
USS Darter, during 4th War Patrol, ran aground on Bombay Shoal. No loss of life. 24 October 1944.
USS Albacore, during 11th War Patrol off northeast Honshu, sunk by enemy mines. All hands lost. 7 November 1944.
USS Growler, during 11th War Patrol, Sulu Sea, sunk by depth charge attack. All hands lost. 8 November 1944.
USS Scamp, during 8th War Patrol east of Tokyo Bay, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 9 November 1944.
USS Swordfish, during 13th War Patrol, Okinawa, sunk, cause unknown. All hands lost. 12 January 1945.
USS Barbell, during 4th War Patrol, South China Sea, sunk by aerial bombs. All hands lost. 4 February 1945.
USS Keat, during 2nd War Patrol, en route to Pearl Harbor, sunk, cause unknown. All hands lost. 20 March 1945.
USS Trigger, during 12th War Patrol off the coast of Okinawa, sunk by surface craft and aerial bombs. All hands lost. 26 March 1945.
USS Snook, during 9th War Patrol, East Coast Northern Formosa, sunk, cause unknown. All hands lost. 8 April 1945.
USS Lagarto, during 2nd War Patrol, Gulf of Siam, sunk by depth charge attack. All hands lost. 3 May 1945.
USS Bonefish, during 8th War Patrol, Toyama Bay, sunk by depth charge attack. All hands lost. 18 June 1945.
USS Bullhead, during 3rd War Patrol, Java Sea, sunk by aerial depth bombs. All hands lost. 6 August 1945.
USS Cochino, battery explosions while operating in seas off northern Norway. All hands but one rescued by USS Tusk. Tusk lost 7 crew members over the side during the rescue. 26 August 1949.
USS Stickleback, rammed by USS Silverstein off Hawaii, all rescued, 29 May 1958.
USS Thresher, lost with 129 men in the Narragansett Bay operating area, 10 April 1963.
USS Scorpion, lost with 99 men, south of the Azores, 27 May 1968.
All submariners who have been lost.
'83 Royal Navy submarines lost in World War II. 3,142 British submariners perished and 360 survived as prisoners of war.
Master Chief Ed Rathgaber, Command Master Chief, Submarine Group 10, sound 2 blast the diving klaxon. United States Submarine Veterans Incorporated Trident-based Commander George Mayhew and World War II submarine veteran Tony Faella will now place the wreath. All military in attendance, attention. Cover. Two, hand salute. Ready? Two. Uncover. Two. Chaplain Karen Rector will now deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. And now may the Lord bless and keep us. May he grant his peace to us to live through troubled times. May he fill us with grace equal to every need, and his peace, which surpasses all understanding. May he grant us the wisdom and most of all the will to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with him. And may he surround us with his love and lead us in the paths of everlasting life. Amen.
Amen. Guests, please be seated. Ushers, please escort our World War II sub-vet to the front of the stage for the official members group photograph and a special presentation. All guests are asked to please stay seated while the presentations are being made and photographs are taken. Face that way, Tony. We want to get your picture.
Don't go anywhere yet, Tony. We want to do something special. I'm going to move the wreath, and all of you chief selects fall in behind Tony for a class picture. We're now going to have a couple of special presentations, so bear with us just a minute. This morning, sailors assigned to Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay flew an American flag in honor of Tony Faella at the base flagpole. So Captain Boner is going to present you with an American flag, Tony, that was flown on the base in your honor today. And the other important part of the team, the captain is going to present roses to Betty, to Blanche, to Beverly, and to Charlie. And we have one more special thing for you here this morning. We don't get to do this often enough, but this morning it's very special, especially for those of you who have never been here before. I would like to now call Master Chief Tom Curtin, Chief of the Boat of the USS Florida, to come forward with one of his young sailors. And Tommy, will you please escort Tony to the center stage here? You're going to get to do something special, young man.
To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Greetings! Know ye that reposing special trust in the fidelity and abilities of machinist mate, auxiliaryman, fireman Edward J. Blatt, United States Navy, I do hereby convey the designation qualified in submarines of the United States Navy this 5th day of November 2021 on board Florida Gold. This designation is tendered in recognition of having the technical skill, proficiency, and judgment inherent in all submariners, and by gaining the trust of the crew during a rigorous qualification program. I do proudly present this certificate of qualification. Signed, T.F. Curtin, Chief of Boat, T.C. Davis, Commanding Officer.
From Thunder Below, Part 3, 10th War Patrol, Piggyback, page 185, 12th November, 1944. Time 0120. Battle stations, torpedoes. The guns resounded as the barge became fully alive. Men, our night surface approach has started on a fat convoy of 11 the ship and 4 escorts. The weather is bloody awful. With high winds and 15-foot waves, the night is dark. We'll be attacking with both bow and stern tubes. Let me know if our rowing makes such too risky. The enemy must be groggy. If you feel groggy, shake it off. We must be more alert than ever.
Submariner. Only a submariner realizes to what a great extent an entire ship depends on them as an individual. To a landsman, this is not understandable, and sometimes it is even difficult for us to comprehend, but it is so. A submarine at sea is a different world in itself, and in consideration of protracted and distant operations of submarines, the Navy must place responsibility and trust in the hands of those who take such ships to sea. In each submarine, there are sailors who, in the hour of emergency or peril at sea, can trust each other. These sailors are ultimately responsible to themselves and each other for all aspects of operation of their submarine. They are the crew, they are the ship. This is perhaps the most difficult and demanding assignment in the Navy. There is not an instant during your tour as a submariner that you can escape the grasp of responsibility. The privileges in view of the obligations are almost ludicrously small. Nevertheless, it is the spur which has given the Navy its greatest mariners, the sailors of the submarine service. It is a duty which most richly deserves the proud and kind honor of submariner.
I would like to thank Trident Refit Facility, Submarine Readiness Squadron 36, Sub-Base Honor Guard Detail for their participation in today's ceremony. Vans are standing by for transportation back to the Sure Stay Hotel. On behalf of the men and women of the Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay, the United States Submarine Veterans of the World War II, and the St. Mary's Submarine Museum, thank you for coming. It is an honor for us to be part of the rich heritage and proud legacy of the Silent Service. Thank you. This concludes the memorial service.